don't talk too much, you won't get into trouble. But if you talk too much, your trouble will be double.
Man, don't I know it, though. I got in trouble for talking. While I was just walking along the street, I met a pretty girl. She said, let's stop in some cafe and get me a bite to eat. I said, who you talking to? And she said, you. I said, who? She said, you. And I said, me. She said, yes. And I said, no, lady, I don't know you. I mean, after all, I couldn't I'd pick up and buy. Well, I would like to, but you see, I'm a little short on. No, I really, it's a long way. And I took her, though.
If you don't talk too much, you won't get into trouble. But if you talk too much, your trouble will be double.
Now, when we were through eating, she just sat there talking, yap, 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 like women will, and a waiter came over to the table, and he handed me the biggest bill and said, that's for you. And I said, who you talking to? He said, you. And I said, who? And he said, you. And I said, me. He said, yes. And I said, no, you got the wrong $18.50. For what did we have to eat? We only had 2 hamburgers and a couple of cups. It didn't have any. I wouldn't pay. Call the manager. I wouldn't think of it. No, I wouldn't. I paid him, though.
If you don't talk too much, you won't get into trouble. But if you talk too much, your trouble will be double.
Now, I don't know exactly how it happened, but that gal hooked me for life. Next thing I knew, I was standing in front of a preacher, and he was saying, do you take this girl to be your loving wife? And I says, who you talking to? He said, you. And I said, who? He said, you. And I said, me. And he said, yes. And I said, no, I don't want to get, I don't even want, what do you mean get married? My mother would, I'm a little, no, maybe I'd met her and kissed her, but that don't, no, I married her, though.
If you don't talk too much, you won't get into trouble. But if you talk too much, your trouble will be double.
Now, when we got home that night, I was so tired, I was wishing I was dead, but she was feeling fine, and she said, honey, it's time for us to retire. And I said, who you talking to? She said, you. And I said, who? She said, you. And I said, me. And she said, yes. And I said, all right.
If you don't talk too much, you won't get into trouble. But if you talk too much, your trouble will be double.
Man, I'm in trouble.